Hi boys and girls, welcome to math. I would like you to get a few things from me. You'll need your division packet, open to page 51. You'll need some scratch paper, a few sheets, your multiplication chart, and a pencil. I will meet you on page 51 in just a moment. All right, to our I can statement. We are on page 51. We are on day 2 of looking at division. And we are using that partial quotient strategy. So day 2, we're going to do a few problems on this page, and then a few problems we are going to just not do. So it's very important that you follow along. A is going to be a with me problem. So we're going to do this one together. B, C, D, and E, those are going to be on your own, or if you need some extra help, your teacher could potentially help you with those if you're struggling a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get our problem set up using our paper, and then we will work this one, and then I will release you to do the other problems on your own and take pictures of your work. So if you could, next to each of these problems, write A, B, C, D, and E. Do this now. And then we are going to get our paper set up. So I have 2 sheets of loose leaf paper. If you want to rip out 2 pages of notebook paper, that would be fine. And we are going to set up our problems. So this is going to be letter A. And I'm just going to copy down my work. 263 4/10. And then I am dividing that by 3. And then I want to probably have a fair amount of space for my ratio table over here. So remember that we're going to set up our decimals, our tenths, our hundredths, and our thousandths, and then each time we're multiplying that by our divisor. And then I'm going to do the same with ones, tens, and hundreds, multiplying those by 3, 2s, 20s, 200, and then 5, 50, and 500. So pause the video, and then you can get all of your ratio tables set up, and we'll finish doing this one together. Pause, and then actually, why don't you go ahead and try to solve this whole thing, and we'll check in just a minute. Ratio table is set up, and then pause, and then we'll go through this one in just a moment. Okay, let's go ahead and just start by checking the ratio table, and then we'll go through. If you need to do some erasing or make some corrections, you can pause the video at any time. So looking at that ratio table that's all set up, we're multiplying everything by the divisor of 3. So out here we should have had 3/10. This would be 3/100, and then this would be 3/1000. Here we have 3, 30, 300, 6, 60, and 600, 15, 150, and 1,500. All right, as you looked over here, I'm going to switch over to pencil. As you looked over here, we are looking for a number that is close to 263 but doesn't go over. And when you solved that one, there's many numbers that you could have picked, but the one that probably is closest for us would be 256. Yikes, that's going to be pretty low. We're going to have to go with 150 right here. So in the margin, 50 would go out, and 150 with that decimal point and a 0 behind. When you subtract, 4 take away 0, that's a 4, 3 take away 0, and 6 take away 5, and 2 take away 1. You can't forget to bring that decimal point straight down. Now I'm looking for a number that's around 113. And the number, when you're looking to get close to 113, the closest one is actually this 60. So if we look at putting the 20 out in the margin, and then the 60, and then a decimal point and a 0. and then I'm going to go ahead and subtract. I have a 4, a 3, and a 5, and I bring the decimal point straight down. Now I have a 53 and 4/10. I'm looking for a number that's in the tens, that's close to 53 but not going over. That would be this 30 right here. So as I look at that, the 10 would go in the margin, and the 30.0 goes out here. I subtract, and I am getting 23 and 4/10. Now I'm looking for a number that's close to 23 without going over, and this 15 right here is the one that I am seeing. So 5 goes in the margin, and 15 and 0/10 goes out here. When I subtract, I get a 4 here. I have to borrow or regroup, and I'm going to get an 8 right here. And then I bring down my decimal point. So now I have an 8 and 4/10. I'm looking for a number that's close to 8 but doesn't go over. The 6 works nicely, and the 2 goes in the margin. 6.0 comes out here. This is a long one. And then I need to subtract. I have a 4, and then 8 take away 6 is 2, and then I bring my decimal down. Now, up until this point, I had 8 and 4/10, which is greater than 3. Now I get down to this 2 and 4/10. I'm going to look up here and check my decimals first. Is there any decimal or whole number that's close to this 2? Otherwise, I end up having this really long stretched out problem. It is possible to do that. Remember, I showed this to you where I was left with that 2 and 4/10, and I just kept repeating that, but it took me forever. I'm going to use more of my mathematical sense though, and I'm going to see if I multiply 3 or 3/10, would I ever get close to a number like 2 and 4/10. So using my multiplication chart, pick it up off the floor here, I'm looking for a 24. And I'm going to find that, hopefully find that in my 3 column or row. So if I follow it across, I get a 24 right here, and I follow it up. So 8 times 3 is 24. So I know that if 8 times 3 equals 24, the 3 is already there. In order to get the 2 and 4/10, I simply would need to put a decimal point in front of that 8. So I'm going to use that common sense. It's 8/10 that will go out here, and 8/10 times 3 would be 2 and 4/10, and that comes out evenly. Now I'm not done yet because I need to add all of these numbers together. So I'm going to add all of my digits in the tens, so 50, 60, 70, 80. And then 5 plus 2, those are the numbers that would be in my 1 spot, that's a 7. And then I have 8/10. So 80 plus 7 plus 8/10 would be 87 and 8/10. All right. So this was problem A that you worked with me. I'm going to ask you, you are going to take a picture of problem A on your next slide in Seesaw. So you will take a picture of problem A, but before you leave the video, I would like to get some of these other problems set up on your scratch paper. Okay, so I'm going to put this one off to the side, and we're going to get problems B, C, and D set up using your paper. All right, so let's go ahead. Problem B, you're going to set that up nice and neat for me. 95 and 7/10. This one is a little bit shorter. And then you're going to set up your ratio table over here. 1/10, 1/100th, 1,000th, and then you're multiplying that by the 3. Okay, and then you are going to do 1, 10, and 100 times 3, and then 20, 20, and 200 times 3, and then 5, 50, and 500 times 3. Okay, so then this would be your ratio table. You'd have to get answers for these, and then you're going to go ahead and solve problem B. Okay, and then let's get problem C set up as well on this page. So problem C, we're going to have 188 and 4/10. 188 and 4/10 divided by 6. Divided by 6. Again, I'm going to make a little squiggle go across here. You're going to set up that ratio table as if you were doing it up here. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, all times 6 this time. And then you move into 1, 10, 100 times 6, and then the 2s, and then the 5s. Okay, all times 6. Okay, so A, you're going to take a picture. B and C you are going to do on your own, and then you will take a picture in Seesaw. And then we're going to do 2 more. Grab 1 more sheet of paper, and we are going to set up D and E. So D would be on the top, and I won't go through all of this, but we'll get it set up. 206 and 1/10 divided by 3, and then this is where you're going to put your ratio table. Set that up on the side over here, just like we did in all the other ones. So that'll be problem D, and then underneath, make a little squiggle. This is going to be problem E, and that's 227 and 5/10 divided by 5. And then that ratio table, I'm going to abbreviate, RT stands for ratio table. You'll just make that over here. Okay? And then with D and E, you're going to take a picture of this work in Seesaw. All right, you've got this, boys and girls, okay? So, just to be clear, one more time, we're on page 51. We've done letter A together. You're going to take a picture of this and put it in Seesaw. Then, you are going to solve B and C, and then you're going to take a picture. Then, you're going to solve D and E, and then you're going to take a picture, and then, yay, you are all done. Okay, great job today, boys and girls. Be sure to reach out to your teacher if you have any questions. Nice job.